If you can't tell by the screen, so I decided to go ahead and continue with the notes. We were supposed to have a Kahoot today. That's gonna get pushed back to next Wednesday. Next Wednesday was supposed to be one of those like assignment days, but again, I'm not as big on those anymore just because we wasted them for so long. That whatever it is, what it is. If I need it for something else, I'll give it to something else. So we're gonna use that Kahoot as a way to study for the test. Next week you have a lot of tests coming up, so let's try to focus here. Ready? Um, Today, continue notes. Tomorrow will be a hybrid of finishing these notes and um, reviewing test 3 from last week. Okay, man, come on, notes. Friday is the test 1 through 3 retake. It could be very beneficial to you, but I made it pretty crystal clear. I'm not going to have any real in-class review. It's up to you guys to go review. What should you use to review? Any tests that I've sent back to you, it should be on your school email, like including practice tests, real tests that are sent back to your email. Any other homework assignments? You can go to my in-class page, week 1, week 2, week 3, you still have links, they're still available. If it's a Khan Academy, you might have to click on the assignments tab to see it, because you won't see it on the main page since they're old assignments, but they're all still accessible. Um, Go through notes, go through old videos, do whatever you feel you gotta do, and I will use the score from that to replace any test scores that are lower. And come next Monday we have a practice test already for this new stuff with circles and density that we did on Monday. Okay, we'll have a practice test. We'll review the practice test on Tuesday. Wednesday will be the Kahoot. Thursday will be the test. All of this is on eClass, and I know you look at the eClass page every day anyways, but I'm just reviewing it. Next what? Next week? You guys get off, there's no school, you know what, and I gotta check this, make sure I have that right.
Wait, when do we have school?
There's no school on election day.
Yeah.
I think that's 2 weeks.
That's in November?
It's the Tuesday, the first Tuesday in November. It's election day, there's no school that day. But other than that, we're going 5-day weeks until, 50 days that week are off. What are Puerto Rico does? Puerto Rico's nice, so part of Puerto Rico. Yeah, I guess, oh, so you're going on vacation? Oh, but it's not, that you don't have like family or anything, you know? Yeah, I haven't been there, but
I went to school.
But you're going at a time where it's
No, it's warm.
still in November? Alright, so the reason why we're sticking with the notes today is because there's a few different things that we didn't go into. And I wanted to make sure we got to it. This structurally is like the same that we did yesterday at the end. They're giving us an equation, and they want us to put it in standard form. Now, what's the first thing I said to do? Move any constants to the other side. But there's one little extra thing here. Before we start grouping the x's and the y's, the x squared and the y squared have to have a 1 in front of it. Right now they don't. The x squared and the squares, they have to have a 1 in front. The coefficient has to be a 1. Right now they don't. In order to be a circle, you have to have a 1 in front. There's no way to fix that. You're not gonna get a ton of these, but just in case you do, like let's pretend that there was no other terms here, right? And I just had 6x squared, and I wanted to get rid of the 6. How would I do it? Divide by 6. Well, go ahead and do that, but the thing is, you gotta do it to everything. Yeah. Anything you do in equation, you gotta do to everything. And then this is where you're not gonna get a ton of these because sometimes division can lead to other fractions, but here it doesn't. Here we go, lucky. 6x squared becomes x squared. 6y squared becomes y squared. 24x becomes 4x. 12y becomes 2y, and this becomes -1. All I did was divide everything by 6, so that now the x squared and the y squared have a 1 in front. Now I can start doing the group addition squared plus 4x. Leave a space for when we complete the square. Y squared plus 2y. Leave a space for when we complete the square. That equals negative 1. How do we complete the square? Divide the middle term by 2 and then square it.
So what is that one before?
So 4 divided by 2 squared. 4 divided by 2 is 2, yes, and then squared ends up being 4. Over here, 2 divided by 2 and then squared. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Even though Sam would say otherwise, 1 times 1 is 1. So what was added to this left side? What's new there that wasn't there before? Plus 4 and plus 1. That needs to be added also to the other side. The 1's canceled. The 1 and the negative 1 cancel. So this side over here is just going to be equal to 1. I have parentheses squared plus parentheses squared. So now let's see what goes in the parentheses. What's the trick I showed you to know what goes in the parentheses? Let's look inside that parentheses. What's 4 divided by 2? So x plus 2 divided by 2? 1. So instead of having to write it again, what goes there? Katie, where does the center end up being? Good? Good. Negative 2 to negative 1. Sammy boy, what's the radius?
1.
1, but not because there's a 1 there. It just happens to be that what is the square root of 1? 1. That's a very common mistake. People just automatically write the numbers on the other side.
Oh no, where did I get 1 from? I thought it was 4.
Huh?
I thought it was 4.
Oh man, you're alright. I wrote it wrong. But it wouldn't be 4. No, you're right. Sorry about that. I wrote a 1. I should have written a 4 here. I apologize. Because the 1's canceled. I'm sorry. But it wouldn't be 4. What would it be? Sorry about that. All Sam's fault.
Yeah, it's all my fault.
Fairness too. Okay, that's all. You guys hear me at home? Because I'm hearing complete silence at home. Fairness, Katie says she wants to see you. Negative 2, negative 1 is here. Go 2 in every direction. I'm not going to make you bring up a compass or anything. That's fine. Not too shabby right there. It's hard. Circles. And I'm not a good artist at all. If you're like a good artist and that's something you do, well, then you can maybe draw a pretty good circle. But not me.
I still can't do it.
That's a pretty nice one, especially considering what I'm using. I think I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that one.
Yeah, I can give you a pat on the back, but
Alright, anybody, any questions here? Alright. Ooh. Yep. Yeah, and look, if you decide to divide by 9, that's cool, it'll work, because when you get to the other side, what's 0 divided by 9? Still 0, so if you wanted to divide by 9, you could, but I like Miranda's way better. Let's go ahead and just get used to moving those constants out of the way. So we get 9x squared minus 90x y minus 72 equals negative 360. And then, then I'll divide by 9. So x squared minus 10x y squared minus 8y equals to 40. I have another girl that started yesterday, he said it was depressing. But then my question is like, well, what is it? I like it. Alright, no questions so far? Alright, so then let's like kind of group them together. One needs to make it easy for you to follow. What is negative 10 divided by 2 squared? That's juice. Hey. Yeah, I'm in class right now, man. Can you put me, lunchtime?
That's what I was telling. I was just showing him your room.
Yeah, I'm here, I'll be here. Let's put me lunchtime. Coach, hold on. Did you take all the stuff down?
Yes.
I messed up, man. I don't know if you want me to reprint this or not. So I did the practice on one side and the game on the other, but I didn't put, like, I guess this was an old version. I didn't realize it. I have senior night on the wrong night, and then some of the other stuff like the pink out, I didn't put it there. I don't know if you want me to reprint everything. I don't know.
Appreciate it. Nice size though, right?
Huh? I'll tell him you said that. -8 divided by 2 is?
4, negative 4.
-4, but when you square Miranda, smaller than so we already have a -40, and what's new on the other side? Very common mistake, you forget that you have to add these two. Plus 25 plus 16. On this side, we can automatically do a parentheses with a square plus parentheses square. Let's see who was listening to me yesterday. Where do those parentheses and squares?
Correct in the square.
Well, it's called completing the square, but no. The whole fundamental theory behind the equation of a circle is rooted in something else. Very good, Pythagorean theorem. And the reason why I try to stress that is because since we're mixing all these minuses and pluses and stuff, sometimes people might make a mistake and put a minus in it. But if you know that it comes from Pythagorean theorem, remember, what is the Pythagorean theorem? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So here's your square, in the middle is a plus. Don't forget this is a plus.
I said that.
I was re-emphasizing the
I thought you were correct.
No. I'm team Miranda. -40 plus 25 plus 16 is 1. Alright, what's going to go in the first parentheses?
X plus 5.
That's just juice. -5, yeah, because now we can go back inside here.
Yeah, and it's -5.
Yeah, well, that was squared. Yeah, -5. You said plus 5. True.
But don't two negatives make a positive?
Well, once you square it, like you need to square to know basically what you're gonna add to both sides. But that's it. Once you add it to both sides, as far as the parentheses go, the sign that goes in there depends on what's inside the little bubble. So like here for this next one, what's gonna go in there?
Negative 4. Why? Negative 4.
Bunny boy, what's bad bunny? What's the center gonna be?
You calling that?
Angel, because you guys remember you used to have the little bunny? You have the little bunny? What's the center? And then Sammy boy,
5.
radius.
Radius is 1.
Yeah, this time it's 1. This time we got it right. Yes.
Because the square was a 1.
So we were to draw it, we go put a center at 5 quattro,
No.
for 1 in every direction. That is not a good circle, but those are hard to draw.
think it is.
That looks like an old, or a deformed cookie.
What's your favorite cookie?
That's fire.
Everybody hates on the ground. I love soft batch cookies.
I'd say the sugar cookie.
Never had soft batch?
So what is that?
Like, come on, let's be clear. We're talking about store-bought cookies. Now. We're not talking, like, there's better cookies that you can make, like gourmet cookies. I'm talking about stuff you buy at the store, soft batch, Keebler soft batch, or something like that. I haven't even seen it. Maybe it's soft batch.
Are they those berry cookies?
No, they come in like a red, it's like a red plastic packaging. It has like a little pull-out tray, like when you open it up, like you would Oreos. It's called soft batch.
Cállate de María.
That is lit. And then also anything white chocolate macadamia is pretty good.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
oh, I know what to do.
They're those, leprechaun?
You're a leprechaun. Like Keebler Ross?
Yeah.
Keebler Ross. Alright, so here we go. This is the other main reason why I decided to make sure we have the extra day, right?
Yeah.
So we want to write an equation. What information do we need in order to be able to write the equation of a circle? The radius is 1, and what else? And the center. Very good. We need center and radius, right? So now what these problems are going to do is that they're going to kind of mix and match what they give you, and you got to figure out how to find the center and the radius. Once you have center and radius, it's easy. It's just a substitution. But you got to figure out how to come up with it. Here they're nice enough to give us the center, but what are we missing?
The radius.
The radius. Well, let's see. But they aren't giving us circumference. Do we know a way to turn circumference into radius? And we do. We learned it earlier this year. The general formula is this: circumference is equal to 2 pi r. But then if you have a good memory, and I still got to remember, I told you radius is just circumference divided by 2 pi. What can we do with that number? Divided by 2 pi, yeah. So my radius is going to be 14 pi divided by 2 pi. Once I have that,
Oh.
now everything is
I was about to ask what
x plus 2. My thing will get very upset. Plus y minus 5 squared is equal to. No! Hey, you gotta square it.
I think we've done it.
Remember yesterday we started off doing it in 2 steps? I was showing you that you had to square it, but then once you got kind of used to it, you're like, alright, let's just square it. Look at the very first step, at the very first page. We were doing it in 2 steps, and I was showing you, like, we started off doing it, hey, equals 7 squared. And then I'm gonna write the whole thing again and say, okay, well, 1 is 7 squared. That's 49. The very first page.
So the radius is 49?
No, the radius is still 7, but the equation would have a 49 in it. Because when you plug in the radius, you got to square it. That's why, look, like we were just going backwards. They were giving us the equation, or we were having to find the equation, and then we pull out radius. If they're giving us equation, or we have equation, and you pull out radius, it's square root. You square root what's there. But if they're giving you radius and you're putting it in, you got to square it. Look at the equation, r squared. Alright, again, they're giving us center, but now we have area. Now area, I didn't give you a direct conversion, but we know that area is equal to pi r squared.
Yeah.
So let's say 25 pi is equal to pi r squared. What would we do first to solve for r? Pi, if our radius is down, so 25 is equal to r squared. And how do we get rid of a square? Square root, like you do in the hood. Yeah, every time I go to the window, did I ever tell you about the story when I was driving by?
You're supposed to say anything about cars.
You know, like, graffiti, how people do graffiti and stuff?
Yeah.
Somebody had written y equals mx plus b.
I'm so happy.
I was driving, I should have taken a picture, but I was driving. Alright, so now we know the radius, we already know the center. So radius is, 5, so Miranda, we'll go on the other side. What?
Wait,
Okay, what, there we go.
wait.
The radius is 5, we'll go on the other side. Any questions? Find the center and the radius of a circle that has a diameter with endpoints. Alright, so what they're telling you is with endpoints, because the endpoints of a diameter lie on the circle. So those are points that are on the circle. They tell you that they're at the end of a diameter. Well, with that diameter, we can find both the center and the radius. If we can find the distance of that diameter, how does a radius relate to a diameter? It's half. We would cut it in half. Okay? And now the center would be right in the middle of those points. What do we call the middle of 2 points? The midpoint. So here's our chance now to go back and study 2 formulas. One of them I gave you yesterday, and I'll give it to you again, which is distance is equal to square root of x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared. This is going to be, I think it would be easier for you to remember if I made this into, like, change the d to an r for radius, but if I did that, I have to divide by 2, because remember the radius is half the diameter. If you wanted to remember to divide by 2 afterwards. Okay. Well, that's fine. We'll just leave, pretend that d stands for diameter then. Okay? And then over here, midpoint is going to be for the center. So the center is going to be the x's added and divided by 2, and the y's added and divided by 2. That's how you find the diameter, that's how you find the center. That's called midpoint formula.
Oh.
Where this is x1, y1, y2. Let's substitute. So the diameter is equal to the square root of 1 minus 5 squared plus negative 2 minus 4 squared. You saw this yesterday a little bit. We have a formula that has a minus in it. Whatever comes after that minus, in this case it will be whatever you call x2 and y2, take time. That's why here for x2, instead of a 5, I put a negative 5. Instead of a 4, I put a negative 4. This requires a little bit more steps just to make sure you're doing it right. This gives me negative 4 squared plus negative 6 squared. As Miranda said earlier, right? 1 minus. Now, once I square them, they become positive. So it becomes 16 plus 36. The root of 52. But that's not perfect square. I guess I would. What is the root of 52? 7.2. But I wanted the radius. So what's the radius going to be around? Well, 7.2 divided by 2, I'm going to get 2.6. Divided by 2. The center is going to be a little bit easier, because now you're just adding the x's. Don't forget here you add, not subtract. So 1 plus 5. The center is going to actually be together. Center is going to be at 1 plus 5 over 2, comma, negative 2, 4, 6 over 2. It's all your fault. Hey, Yannick, are you there today? I noticed you disappeared yesterday. Yannick, just give me a what's up if you're there. That's not Monica. That's Sarah. Hey, Honor. Okay, you have to go to the party yesterday or something? Questions there? That's all they wanted is the center and the radius. Here, bonus question. Let's say they wanted you to rank the equation. Write the equation for me.
Is the seat the? Oh, okay.
What you get?
Done.
Huh? Yeah, see, that's my concern. Yeah, I figure most of everybody here should be able to know that it's gonna be x minus 3 squared plus y minus 1 squared. But what I was curious about is what you would put over there. Because remember, these are rounded. And we would love to avoid rounding, right?
Yes.
Now remember, over here goes r squared, correct?
Yeah.
And what caused us to round? Like back over here, what forced me to round? What operation forced me to round? Square root. But I got a square over there. What did squares do to square roots? What square them? What do they do? Cancel. They cancel them. Nice, because that gives me a chance now to be exact. So what I would do is say, all right, well, yeah, I know I had to round from my radius, but back when I was being exact, you know, my diameter was square root of 52. And I know that the radius is just half of that, so I can just put divided by 2, but the radius is half. But then the formula tells me that I'm allowed to square it. And when you square a fraction, you would have to square each one. So I would have x minus 3 squared plus y minus 1 squared is equal to, the square is going to cancel the square root, so I'm just going to regular 52, but I have to square the bottom also. That's 2 squared. Which is still going to give me a decimal, but at least I won't have to round. So, that's a little bit complex, but if you were to go on Desmos and you were to type that in, the center would be exactly a 3-1, and the radius would be exactly what it's supposed to be. Like, it would pass through these 2 points, put it that way. It would be passing through these 2 points, and the center would be there. Yeah, the radius is still going to be around 3.6. It's not going to, like, if you were, the only way to say the radius exactly would be to say square root of 52 over 2. But you would exactly see it, the circle would be passing through those 2 points, and there would be the center. Yeah. Question, yes? Yeah, when you have a fraction with an exponent, you distribute that exponent. So the square just cancels the square root on the 52, but then you gotta square the 2 also.
Okay. Y minus.
Thanks, Andy, okay? We're almost there, man, 20 more minutes.
3 is not time.
No, not that.
It was good.
This is not time, this is one time, yeah. Find the equation of the circle with a center of 0,4 that passes through 1/4. Alright. So, here they're talking about distance formula, but I already gave you distance formula. We have a center, what are we missing? The radius. But now they're not giving me endpoints of the circle. If I were to draw a picture, they are giving me the center and they're giving me a point. So if I could find that distance, what would that distance represent? Yeah, I would already have the radius. So let's go back and do the same formula. Radius is equal to the square root of subtract the x is 0 minus 1 squared plus subtract the y is -4 minus 4 squared. Radius is equal to -1 squared assuming they wanted, oh, actually, no, they're only asking for the equation, perfect, let's see what you learned from the last one. Can you give me the equation? The left side should be easy. Remember that the difference between this one and the last one is the last time we had the diameter. Here we already have the radius. So we plug in that radius and it's getting squared. What? No, it should not be a decimal because look, look, can we agree on let's agree on the left side. Look, the center is at 0, -4. You know that when the coordinate is 0, we don't need the parentheses. I can just write x squared. Remember that from yesterday. You don't have to write x minus 0. X minus 0 is just x. For the y's, it will be y plus 4. Okay, so we agree there. Going piece by piece. Now here's what's confusing you. Remember on this side, what's supposed to go here is r squared. But I just found r. If I get that square root and plug it in up there, what's the square going to do to the square root? It's going to cancel it. What's going to go here? Thank you, Paris. Well, no, 65 is not the radius. You still have to find the square root of 65 for the radius. But when you plug it into the equation, you got to square it.
That's the point.
Any questions? Say it. If you're confused by it, say it. Okay. Like, if you wanted to have a more precise number, put square root of 60, not even precise. Precise would not be the word. If you wanted to wrap your head around the radius a little bit better, put square root of 65 in the calculator. It'll give you like 8.1. Yes, you have a radius of like 8.1. But they're not asking you for the radius specifically, they're asking you for the equation. And the equation says x minus h, y minus k, but on the other side is r squared. Well, if I know that the r is a square root, and I love plugging square roots into squares because they cancel. Now just give me 65. Yeah. What are both lines? Yeah, that's this -4. But then remember the second, whatever comes after the minus, change the sign. So that becomes a -4. This 1 over here, when I put this 1, here that became a -2. Try it again. Find the center and the radius of a circle that has a diameter with these endpoints. So just like when we did 2. We need to find both center and radius. We'll go ahead and write the equation just for fun. Just because I like to know you guys do more work. So we skip the other one underneath? Yeah. Sorry about that. Oh, it's fun! It's not even my birthday. That's a lot, Sam. I think I'm question. Will Thomas get cell phone reception if he is 10 miles south and 5 miles west of a cell phone tower that gives off a signal that travels 11 miles? Okay, well, we actually learned this yesterday. Okay? So, what would you do? If you look at this, the equation of a circle. Let's write this. So x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to the radius squared. Now, I know that this 11 is going to stand for the radius because that's where the signal is going in all directions. It's going 11 in every direction. For this, if you draw a picture, and everything here is like going 11, well, we can assume that the center is going to be at 0, 0. Okay? So the h and the k would just be a 0 and a 0, but it would just be x squared plus y squared would have to be equal to In this case, it'll be 11 squared. And I know 11 squared is 121. Now the x and the y would be this. Now 10 miles south means you're going down 10, so that we'll count that as a negative 10 for the y. We'll put the negative, we'll be squared, so it'll be positive. 5 miles west, the west is going to the left, so that we'll count that as a negative also. And that would have to be equal to 121. Now this is going to be if it's on the circle. Remember we talked about it yesterday? If this number ends up being less, the number there on the left ends up being less, you're inside the circle. If they end up being equal, you're on the circle. And that number is bigger, you're outside the circle. So this is 25 plus 100 is 121. So they're obviously not equal. What's bigger, 125 or 121?
He is out of line.
He is out of room. What's signal for you? If it would have been less, then. Yeah, there's a dialogue, and that would be coming in the full wall. Hard to think, it's a very small class. I think the whole class has like, I think only like now, 1 or 2 people show up consistently. So I'll have like either 1 or 2 of these seats. Everybody else is online, but I usually half the online kids don't show up. So, just kind of be talking to myself. Find the center and radius of a circle that has, okay, so this is what we're going to work on. We did this already. So let's find the diameter first. Distance formula for the diameter. I'm going to subtract the x's. 1 minus 5 and then square them. 1 minus 5 squared plus negative 2 minus 4 squared. Negative 4 squared plus negative squared. 3 plus 36. Wait, this is the exact same one that we just did? Well, that's the exact same one. Alright. Sorry about that. The end points of the diameter have these coordinates. Find the center of the circle and the right equation. Alright? First it's fine, and at least here it's good, they want the right equation. So the diameter is negative 4 minus 2 squared, subtract equation. Plus 5 plus 3. How did I get that plus? Because the second y is negative, so I turn whatever the second, these 2 coordinates here are going to change sign. So this is negative 6 squared plus 8 squared minus 36 plus 6 to 4. This is going to work out nicely, but I like this a lot better because the diameter is 10, but I don't want the diameter, what do I want? Yeah, the radius is going to be 10 divided by 2, which is 5. I think it's like a Rubik's class or something. What's that? It's like jazzercise.
What's jazzercise?
No. Alright, so that's the radius. Who remembers how we found the center? Not by distance formula, by how? There's another formula. Midpoint formula, midpoint formula. Center is going to be, add the x's. Negative 4 plus 2 over 2. And add the y's, which the second y is negative, so I'm going to do 5 minus 3 over 2. Alright, there's not your fault. Negative 2 over 2, you did everything. We're having fun. Negative 1. Sorry, brother's fault. That's the equation. But I'm gonna be there, I want you to give it to me. Give me the equation. X plus 1 squared plus, no? Alright, and now, good. This is really like, practice test on this is, Monday. Real test is Thursday. See, we can do 2 examples. Identify if the given point is outside. Oh, this is easy, okay. You finish doing this. What am I gonna do with these two numbers? What am I gonna do with these two numbers there? Put them in for X and for Y. So 3 minus 2 squared plus negative 1 plus 3 squared is equal to 4. If they are equal, what happens?
It's on the circle.
It's on the circle. If it's less than,
It's out.
it's inside. If it's greater than,
Outside.
so 1 squared plus 2 squared is equal to 4. That's not it. It's gonna be 1 plus 4. Which is not equal to 4. Is 5 less than 4? Greater than, what is it? 5 is greater than, so this is outside. It's just like the one thing with the cell phone. Are we doing the same thing?
No,
Why not?
I need a
It
no.
looks sharp to me.
I need a no. That's what we said.
And then you do Matthew, Gerald, see.
7.
Alright, see if you guys can do this one now. Tell me inside, outside, or on. Last one today.
Might be good.
It is on the phone.
It's what? Yeah, I'm getting inside of my head, let's see.
I guess it's right, so let's see what happens.
Oh.
Oh, wait, hold on, she might be right. You're right, I substituted wrong in my head, this is gonna be honest with you.
Told you.
Never go against. Yeah, so this is 9 plus 16. Yeah, I had plugged the 2 in where the X goes on. This is equal. Hold on. Take that, Lana. Hello.
No,
Yeah, hold on.
no,
Yes.
no,
Hello.
no.
Good time, mate.
Second.
Let's toss another shrimp on the ball, babe.
Oh,
Barbie? I got inside.
Yeah, I got it. Negative 1 minus 3. Hayden and Ferris, all the cool kids are in school now. Back to school. I know Ferris will probably start the year in school. He's excited about it. So Katie will stay home. He's not Katie, but 32 is less than 36, so this is inside. You can come back to school if you want. Everybody's doing it. Alright, we'll stop there. So we got 4 examples left to do tomorrow. We'll review the test tomorrow. I'll send back tonight, or maybe, I'll send back the results. I don't think I'll send them back in for the test, for this last test. You know, I go back to your email, you see what we got right or wrong. Yes. Any questions at home? Let me see what's here. Let's be honest. Here's, yeah, I think there's.
Hello.
I'm not sure.
I think.
I fell asleep at the end of the call.
Jordan, you made it!